Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to some Club 100 heavyweight sprint action at Bayford Meadows for round 6. Starting straight away with our back start in this round of Club 100 sprints. We've got Angelo O'Neill making his second cameo appearance for the year. We've got Anwar up in front of us, as well as some other very speedy drivers as well. So as we check over the shoulder to make sure that no one's about to throw it up our inside, we throw it down the inside of Tom Edwards, trying to keep up with Anwar as he makes his way through the pack, trying to fight his way forwards. Not able to get around the outside there of the right-hander, but is able to go around the outside coming off of the circuit. We were given that tarmac out to the right-hand side, so not an illegal move by getting advantage through going wide there, and that allows me to get up the inside as well. The driver there had a little bit to think about throwing up the inside of the long sort of double right closed start, the ending of the lap really, but decided better rather than backed out, and that's us up quite a few decent positions going through the first lap. It was a good start, and as you can see there, we've kind of broken out a little bit of a gap already from the guys behind, so don't have to worry too much as Anwar gets his head down, throws up the inside there, going into the hairpin. Excellent little opportunity to overtake in there because you've got the kink right, and then you're braking right on that point. And the quickest line is to go wide, and then that allows the move up the inside if you can keep it a bit tighter. Driver there should have kept it a bit tighter because the space was there and allowed me to put my nose up the inside, and again trying to get through nice and quickly to try and stay on the back of Anwar. However, just didn't really have the pace in this first one to keep up as a cone gets clipped there by Anwar as he's fighting away with Adam Nather. You can see there going for the move up the inside, but Adam able to keep momentum around the outside. Another cone being sent flying there. Technically that should be a penalty for Anwar, but you'll see why that doesn't matter in just a moment. Adam keeps it tight going in towards the right hand hairpin, not allowing Anwar up the inside. It does compromise the line, however, coming around the left-hand onto this back straight, and Anwar has a look for it, ends up two wheels on the grass and just gets tangled up with the rear end of Adam's car and ends up spinning off to the outside. That would have to be Anwar getting out the cart there to salvage it, and he would come in right towards the back of the pack, unfortunately for him. But it did damage Adam's cart slightly, but being that it was the last lap, wasn't able to quite capitalise on the loss of power that Adam would have from having a dangling rear exhaust. I don't know what front exhaust you have in these carts, but he's now got a rear exhaust as well. On to race number 2. This would be the front start, and you can see there Joe got an absolute mega launch off the line. I think he managed to time it perfectly with a little bit of a bump behind. Mike Bodner suffering with a bit of drive off the line. I'm able to get up the inside, taking advantage of that big gap that had come up between Joe and the driver that had started in third. You can see behind we've got Angelo O'Neill and we've got Kurt Holmes in this race as well. And as we go through the first of the infield hairpins, I sort of felt like maybe I was a bit safer than I actually was, and didn't think that Andrew was quite as close, meaning I took a kind of normal line going through the right hand infield hairpin, which was all Andrew needed to feel invited to go for the move, which he absolutely did, as would I, and had I known he was there, maybe I'd have been a bit tighter. But the main thing now is not losing too much time. Joe's already kind of managed to scamper away a little bit, and if we can try and keep up with Andrew as he goes into full great white shark mode, trying to chase down Joe, we want to be there to try and pick up the pieces if we can. If you look over, already quite a big gap developed between me and Kurt, and that would only get bigger over the course of the race. Joe, Andrew and I seem to have the pace over the rest of the field in this particular one. I think ultimate pace was probably had by Andrew, but Joe is not an easy driver to pass, and as well you will see in a moment as we skip forward a few laps. I was losing maybe half a tenth each lap, maybe a little bit more if I'd made a mistake, and that allowed Andrew to pull away, so I wasn't right in his toe, but it did allow him the ability to start attacking Joe reasonably freely, which is only going to slow them down. Joe does a good job at keeping around the outside there. Not an easy thing to do because this infield was quite slippery. Not that it had been raining, it had been quite a warm weekend all in all, but it just didn't seem to grip up massively, especially the right hand infield hairpin. That was it was better on the Sunday with some new boots on the front, but overall it was still very low grip. Just not able to get the drive there. Andrew trying to get into the right-hander first, and Joe keeping his nose in, has that preferred inside line, and the grip, what grip there was there, goes defensive, and there was many lines you could take into that horseshoe corner, that long left-hander, and as we look over, you can see even with this fighting, we've managed to pull away from the guys behind. Joe keeping it tight, doing a good job there of not opening the door, allowing Andrew to have a bit of a think. Keeps it tight again, going in towards the hairpin. Andrew maybe looking to try and cut back, or see if he can carry some speed around the outside, but nothing doing this time. I look to go around the outside to maybe be able to get a better exit off the corner, but just get cut off by Andrew and have to get off the throttle, which means that I'm then not able to have a little bit of a sniff going down into the horseshoe. So no progress this time, but there's going to be one more opportunity as we jump forward onto what will be the last lap of this race. Joe goes defensive into turn number 1, thinking maybe that he'd come back over to the left. Andrew had a think about throwing it up the inside, but that only compromised him, and I was just about able to get my nose alongside his rear wheels, but wasn't able to get fully alongside enough to be given the room going into that flick to the right. Tries going around the outside as Andrew through the first of the infields, but nothing doing that time. And as we come round onto the back straight, this is going to be like the last real opportunity to overtake, going down in towards the horseshoe. Joe takes it right over towards the left, and as Andrew goes over the grass, very nearly maybe, had that been a little bit later, could have done a repeat of what Anwar did in our first heat, but able to get that kart back under control, tuck in back behind Joe, and that would be the race. Some excellent defensive driving from Joe, some very respectful attacking by Andrew, and I'm able to just not pick up the pieces as we'd go into heat number 3, starting just one row further back this time in 6th. Got Alex Pritchard on the inside, you can see there giving a really good bump to his side of the line, getting a good launch, and as we come across, driver who started in 2nd doesn't get over enough, and very strong move there by Will Emerson, I think that is, with the Ayrton Senna gloves, able to get the inside, but that does allow me to keep a bit more momentum going down towards the flick right and into the first hairpin, and able to slot it up the inside behind Alex, who goes for an absolute storming move on Hinkling there, and that then allows me to take advantage of the fact that he's stuck out towards the left hand side and get through. But it'd be important that, because in theory you'd expect to be a bit faster than the super heavyweights as a C1 driver, and keeping behind Alex, we know that Alex is going to be a very positive mover forward, so long as he's got the equipment underneath him, and he's there signalling away as always, saying yes, we're getting there, keep pushing, and we definitely were. But at this point I was starting to feel like I definitely had the pace. I'd checked over my shoulder, I'd seen that Kurt had got through as well, and in an effort to want to try and avoid being chased down by Kurt, I decided that this was the point to go for the move. As you can see there, Kurt going for a move behind as well, and yeah, I felt like I had the kart in this one to be able to chase down the leader on my own, so make that one move on Alex, trying not to lose us too much time between us, and as you can see there, he's not disappeared, he is there, but even through just a few corners of the lap there, we've managed to pull out maybe a couple of kart lengths on Alex, so it seems to definitely have been the right choice to make a move and try and chase down the leader solo. As we go through turn number 1, it definitely was. You can see we've broken down that gap and right on the bumper now. Little bit of a think about it going into the hairpin, but nothing doing quite this time. He was good and late on the brakes, but maybe a bit too late as it compromised his exit speed. I'm able to get my nose up the inside going through the hairpin, and that's job done. Or is it? No, we take the alternative line. Coming on the exit there, apparently, taking to the grass. Not the best of strategies, going fully off the circuit and on the grass to try and make a move, but the racing gods intervened and didn't allow that move to pay off. I was able to sort of see it coming a little bit and cut back underneath on the exit of that infield right-hand hairpin. And yeah, as you can see, making some good headway through the last section of the lap again. This car had a nice bit of top end and mid-range on it. The bottom end was good as well, but I wouldn't say it was significantly better than anything else there, but it was definitely the mid and the top range. And as we come through onto what would be the final lap in this third and final heat, we'll have a look over the shoulder, and it is a big old gap back to second place. This car was a bit too good, to be fair, if I hadn't won in this one, I think I'd have had to give myself a bit of a talking to, because it was a very, very strong car, and that would be P1. But in an effort to try and avoid there being what is an absolute rocket ship and a kart that would be next to impossible to catch in the hands of most drivers, we brought it in, and I sort of gave it over, so saying it's a bit too good, this one, maybe have a look at it, and they did. I presume, anyway. And we'll go on to the final, Angelo O'Neill, with results of first, second, and second, good enough for pole. My results for the day, good enough for fifth, and that's a good side of the grid to be on, as you get your the inside line for the first three corners. Miguel had a really good day, managed to put it on second, but didn't get the best of starts. And we were side by side going into turn number one, so first, third, and fifth in this one, able to get a really good jump. Alex going for an absolute send. He changed his car in the 4-minute warm-up, and I think he felt that maybe this one was about the same as the one he had initially, and was trying to make that move straight away. Speaking to him afterwards, he was planning on, had that move come off, having an extremely defensive race from that point on, to see if he could come away with the win that time. As we look over the shoulder, we can see the field spread already starting a little bit. Incidentally, Kurt, Anwar and Joe all didn't have particularly great days, as we give Alex a bit of a bum. Have a think about it, but didn't really have the run needed to throw it up the inside of turn number one. But yeah, the top three in the championship not having the best of heats, and they all started much further down than they were maybe expecting to start the A final today. As we continue to push Alex along, making sure not to push him into the braking zone, and that would only cause both of us to have a loss of time. Miguel at this point was a little bit of the way back, but we'll see as we go through the race, he definitely had the pace as well. So whilst I was happy at this point to push Alex along, I could kind of see that Andrew was pulling away from both of us. We come into a yellow flag zone here. Not that this makes too much of a difference. The final corner at Bayford Meadows, not really an overtaking opportunity unless someone's made an absolutely massive mistake. But I was definitely wanting to try and get through on Alex sooner rather than later at this point, to try and run away from the impending doom that could be behind should Kurt, Anwar, Joe and company possibly catch up and get through. So I managed to get through on Alex, making that move that we talked about earlier, going into the first right-hand hairpin after the kink, and I was kind of hoping that he'd do a bit of a better job of rear guttering there for me and holding Miguel up, because Miguel took a very opportunistic move going into the right-hander. Alex there probably looking to try and maximise the exit of the corner, went a bit too wide on entry, having been compromised a couple corners before, and loses the position to Miguel. As from that point, we'll skip ahead right to lap 13, where for most of the race, Miguel and I had been pretty even Stevens, and it was a very sweaty race, both of us pushing incredibly hard. The gap to Andrew ahead was staying pretty much consistent, but we were definitely opening a gap up behind, and I sort of lost my head a little bit there. I didn't get the best of exits coming off the left-hand hairpin before, a little bit of a slide which compromised the exit, and just left far too much space on the right-hand side. Should have kept it tighter, bearing in mind that this is the penultimate lap of the race, and that was all that Miguel needed to do, exactly to me what he did to Alex a few laps beforehand. As we come on to what will be the last lap now, in third position, wanting to try and get this second place back, and if there's going to be a place to do it, it's either going to be coming into the right hand hairpin now, or coming probably onto the back straight. Miguel keeps it tight going into the hairpin, so nothing doing that time, compromises his exit, but we're not able to get enough of a run to possibly threaten him going into this left hand hairpin. He's going to keep it absolutely stapled to the right line on the right hand side, so I cut to the left, looking to try and get a decent cutback, and he just gets a little bit of an unsettled coming through that, and you can see there that unsettled little wobble of the car meant that I caught up with him a little bit too soon on the exit, and just tapped his rear bumper as I was looking to try and pull out to come alongside him. And yeah, that was it at that point. If I hadn't have touched his rear bumper, I think I would have had the momentum to get alongside. But that unfortunately actually needed him to get a better run, having compromised himself than he did. And yeah, frustration. That should have been a second place in all honesty. But it was a good clean move by Miguel to get up the inside. And yeah, just an unfortunate bit of timing on my part to not be able to take that second place back on the last lap. But it was a really good fun race, a good fun day, some really good racing all round. And yeah, the top three would get even closer after that from having bad days each, and going into the next round at Clay Pigeon. Again, not known as being a circuit to let you off easy. We'll see how it goes. But as always, hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, have a good one.